Good Wednesday evening to you here on Midnight Movie Talk. Eric Weber, ready to roll. And we usually don't do these on Wednesdays. We do Sunday, we do Tuesday, we do Thursday. But tonight, just like on Monday night, had a chance to see a brand new movie. It's Lightyear. Let's get to it here on Midnight Movie Talk. And I want to talk about the social media reaction. Right now, we have an embargo in play with this film. It's Pixar's latest, right? As you know, this is the film that Andy watched that inspired him to buy his Buzz Lightyear, right? This is a film from 1995, technically, right? That's the sell here. Let's get right into my social media reaction. Again, critiquing it fully is a little bit dicey right now because when they put an embargo in play, you have you have to kind of restrain yourself a little bit, but I think you'll be able to tell how I feel about Lightyear by just my social media reaction. And we're also going to look around at other people's social media reaction and see if they have the same reaction to this film. Let's get to it. Here it is. Socks, the cat, is the superstar of Lightyear, Pixar's best film since Soul. Spectacular animation with an oddly affecting message. Failing isn't always, quote, failing. Now, someone get me that robotic cat stat. The cat's great. I mean, listen, it's literally the highlight of the film. And from watching the trailers, I was kind of like, I don't know about this. I'm not sure if Lightyear's going to be something that I'm really stoked to see and or really enjoy watching. But after sitting through the film, I can tell you that it is the best Pixar film since Soul. Really, for me, Luca was so-so, and then Turning Red is not a good Pixar film. In fact, I think it might be their worst. I would even have it probably below The Good Dinosaur. I mean, if you want to go and rank Pixar films. So Lightyear is a step above both Turning Red and, of course, Luca for me. Soul is still above Lightyear. Listen, I know a lot of you have issues with Soul, and you're going to tell me that the cat part, right? Another cat from Pixar. The cat part where he turns into the cat, that is a little weird and doesn't quite work, and then it sort of works, and then we get back to really what makes the film spiritually hit home, and that is the other world, right? The next level, whatever that is, whatever's the great beyond for us. I think Soul does it so well, and let's be honest with one another. You strap a Reznor-Ross score onto any film, and I'm going to like it. It's going to elevate that film to not one level, not two. You're talking like 3 minimum levels higher when you throw Reznor-Ross and their genius work on top of a film. And the Soul score it won Oscar, right? I'm pretty damn sure it did. At this point, sometimes you forget instantly when it happens. But I will say this. It is the best score of the year, even over the work of Ludwig in Tenet. But listen, Soul's great. I love Soul. So this is just a step below, but it will be a big hit because audiences will like the film. Overall, great message about the failing is not always failing. I think it's going to work for audiences. So good news here. Let's go through a couple more social reactions tonight as we look at this, as they stream in. Scott Menzel just got out. He went to the actual premiere. Scott is just so cool. I had to go to the Grove. They wouldn't let me go see the premiere. But Scott got to see it. Let's see what he says. Lightyear is gorgeous to look at, and yes, Sock steals the show, but are we really going to ignore the fact the movie makes no freaking sense whatsoever? If this movie is made Andy love Buzz Lightyear, why did none of these characters exist as toys? He was waiting. I talked to Scott because he saw the first 30 minutes a while ago, and he was waiting to unleash that tweet tonight. He's got a point, okay? Why did none of the other characters have toys? Maybe they only made Buzz. Maybe back then, okay, that doesn't make sense because we all know. Go back to Star Wars figures that I collected, right? When the original Star Wars, you had every character that appeared in the film for literally half a frame. They had the action figure. So Scott has a point. But let's just not really delve that far in. Scott's being a little harsh. Let's see what else we got here. Austin Burke. We follow each other on Twitter. He's a YouTuber, right? Does everything a Buzz Lightyear film needs to do. The visuals are excellent. Core characters are likable. And Evans is a great choice. There are more than a few moments that will have fans cheering. And Socks the Cat steals the show, which is everyone saying Socks is the winning element here by far. Scott Mendelson, obvious commercial cynicism aside, Lightyear's a solid 3-star outer space adventure flick with pulpy screenplay, fun characters, and strong visuals. I just love how Scott writes. Sox deserves his own movie. I mean, this is all you're going to see over and over. Sox deserves a movie. It's the best part of the film. I think that it's going to be a hit for Pixar. Again, better than Luca. Certainly better than Turning Red. Listen, Turning Red went to direct to streaming for a reason. It's not a great film. There's no universe in which Turning Red is a good film. It's just very forgettable. For Pixar, it's bad. I do want to touch on one thing. Pixar has lost this short, right? In front of the shorts, in front of the Pixar movies. What happened to that? Whose decision was it to get rid of the short in front? I don't know what's going on. I know that when John Lasseter exited Pixar, things have changed. But I really feel we got to get that short back. It's something that we expect, and it's not there again here for Lightyear. Let's get into something that's going to be a little bit dicey. I want to get your comments on this because I'm not really sure how to react to this. Ezra Miller, is he in trouble again? I'm going to pull up the TMZ article because a lot of people are staying away from this. And so I've got to go find it via TMZ. And we can make fun of TMZ and say, it's TMZ. Listen, one thing that TMZ has, sources. They have sources throughout the entertainment business. When they say something, you can't just dismiss it as, it's TMZ. Let's go through this. Ezra Miller. Parents say actors taking control of their daughter. They ask the court for protective order. Okay, let's just go through the basics. We'll gun through this. Ezra Miller is not only a bad influence, they're a danger to the well-being of an 18-year-old woman. According to her parents, legal docs obtained by TMZ, Takata Iron Eyes met then 23-year-old Miller in 2016 when she was just 12, which is obviously an issue, and the actor was visiting Standing Rock Reservation in North Dakota. From there, they say she and Ezra developed a friendship they believe puts Takata at risk. Now, okay, so basically the accusation is that Ezra was grooming her. At the time of a trip, they say Takata, they took a trip together. She was 14, Ezra was 25. I know that she went out today on Instagram and said he's been, really a great influence on my life and really has helped me out. So I think that lessened this story. But here's the point, and I want to get into the comments with you guys on this because I don't want to get too far. I want to get into more what you have to say, and then we can bounce off one another. When Warner Brothers, they said, listen, Ezra, you can't do another thing. You need to stay in WITSEC, witness protection, for the next year until we get Flash out. And here it is again, weeks later, we have another story via TMZ saying that this guy's doing something. Now, again, it's an accusation, but nonetheless, it's still bad PR, okay? It's bad PR for the film again that they've already pushed into 2023, as you guys know. They've already test screened this thing. So now you're looking at a situation where they just wanted to get out of this. Warner Brothers is like, just let it go away. And every time it starts to go away, it bounces back in their face. And here it is again tonight. I want to get your comments on what's up with Ezra Miller, but I do know this. Warner Brothers cannot be happy. They have to just be like, let's put it this way. Okay, Flash is done. We know that. It's test screened. It's ready to go once the final edits are made by Muschietti. Once that happens, it's done. But if it weren't done, if it were just started, or maybe even just like a quarter of the way through, that film would be put on ice and he would be recast. Warner Brothers is in this situation where the film is done, and apparently it's testing very well. Source tells me it's very strong. They know that this is a film that they want to get out there because they believe in it. But at some point, if another thing happens, I keep saying, if another thing happens with Ezra, they're going to have to pull this thing. They really just are going to have to. I'm sorry. Not yet, but we're so close. We are teetering on the edge, literally in the movie, where it's like the car's on the edge, right? And it's just about ready to flip over. That is Ezra Miller. That is the Flash with Warner Brothers. I want to see the kid get his act correct. But again, he's back in the news, and that's not good. Prometheus. Today is the 10th anniversary of the opening day of Ridley Scott's visual masterpiece, Prometheus. This was a film that Ridley Scott shot in 3D. Okay, he added $10 million to the budget by making that choice, and the studio, then Fox, said yes, do it. $10 million worth every penny. If you had a chance to see Prometheus in 3D, the difference between 3D added in post and 3D shot organically with cameras, Prometheus is everything, okay? Also The Great Gatsby, Dread. Go back to that 2011, 2012, 2013. That was the highlight of 3D. That was the peak of that medium, and Prometheus is everything that needed to be as far as bringing the absolute maxing the potential 3D Prometheus. I wish you guys could see it in 3D. Unfortunately, you can't. I think it's a messy film. There's a lot of things going on. He wants to say so much in that film, right? I don't know if it all lands by any means. But again, as a visual film, it is a masterpiece of visual excellence, and I wish that you guys could see that film in 3D if you haven't. Let's talk about Jurassic World Dominion comes out this weekend, and I'm telling you, it's going to suffer. And here's how it's going to suffer. Maverick is now pushing forward, as you guys know, with these holds that are really, we haven't seen this since The Greatest Showman, with these kind of holds. Greatest Showman didn't make as much money, but the holds were like minus 15%, minus 10, minus 20. There were these negligible holds, and when you had that means you have this word of mouth that was continuing to propel this film, and Maverick still has that. So now you have Dominion coming out tomorrow night, right? Thursday night, the previews come out, and you look at what Universal's saying. They're saying this thing is actually bringing it down. The forecast is now at 125. I think initially it was like 175. I think they're looking now at like 125. They want to get out in front of this right now because the trades, Variety is saying 125. And the reason they are is because Universal's aware that this film's in trouble because of Maverick and because it's just okay. Some people are going to tell you it's a bad film. I'm not saying it's it's very watchable. It's not a great film, but it is not nearly at the level of a Maverick, which is really unfair to compare anything to Maverick. Maverick is a special film and very unique in the way that it handles the predecessor and bringing it into now. And I think what you have here with Dominion is you have that nostalgia factor, no question about it, and it's not nearly as strongly used, right? The screenplay in Maverick here, the screenplay in Dominion is way down, but it still has the nostalgia in play. I think that Universal knows this film is going to underperform, okay? So 125 instead of 175 is a big difference. So now they're trying to get those expectations much lower. So when the number comes in at, say, 115, 120, 125, they can say, hey, that's what we thought. That's what we said. We knew this was going to happen. And that's what's happening. They're trying to reel in expectations because it's not going to open at 175, 180. It's because of Maverick. Because people don't go to movie theaters every weekend. They go one, take one off, again, take one off. Some go one, take two off, take three off, take four off. And when you have those people that are just occasional moviegoers, they're not going to go see Dominion because they just came out of Maverick, right, last weekend. And they're not going to go this weekend. They're like, we're going to go to the beach. We're not going to the movies. That's the problem and the main issue that Dominion has this coming weekend. We'll see what happens. We're going to get into comments momentarily. Real quick, let's do our random FYC item of the night. Is Downton Abbey tea. I don't even know. I've never opened this. It's still sealed. Is it tea? It's got to be tea. You got Downton Abbey. I still have not seen any of the Downton Abbey movies or the show, so this remains unopened. If there's a huge Downton Abbey fan out there, I really have no attachment to this, but there it is, Downton Abbey tea. Also tonight's football kit, yes, is FC Tokyo, direct from Japan. It literally arrived yesterday, and I go, get me that kit. Let's see it. Bring it out. FC Tokyo, New Balance soccer kit, very rare. All right, let's get into the comments. It's comment time here on Midnight Movie Talk. Let's get into it. Ezra Miller. We've got, obviously, Lightyear. You have Dominion. You have Prometheus 10. You've got so many things we can talk about here tonight. Let's get into it. Here we go. Cell phone, good evening to you. People were raving about Lightyear since CinemaCon. Box office, don't know. Disney probably giving it 30-day window that worked for Encanto. And Disney wants to be number one in streaming. And Prey, with so many things to talk about with this comment here, cell phone. Let's start with Lightyear because it's obviously the night that the social media reaction is in, and it's overwhelmingly positive. I think that we need to, again, make sure that these theatrical windows are well established. I don't even like telling people it's going to be on Disney Plus in 30 days. Now, I understand they want to drive Disney Plus. I get it. Okay. But you can still drive people to Disney Plus without telling people Lightyear's going to be there in 30 days. Just don't mention it. And then 30 days from now, say, oh, by the way, Lightyear's going to be on in 2 days, in a day, whatever, a night before. That way you max your theatrical cash. It's a very simple philosophy. Why tell people what you're going to do ahead of time? Just let it happen. You already know the plan's there. They're going to be waiting a month either way. Maybe for someone that's on the fence, like you're seeing with Maverick, to go to a movie. Maverick's become this sensation where if you haven't seen it, you're out of the loop. And if someone goes, have you seen Maverick? And you say no, then you kind of feel inadequate. Oh my God, I haven't seen the film. That doesn't happen often, okay? The reason that film continues to do the business it does is because of that. It's become a phenomenon, right? Also, word of mouth through the roof and repeat viewings. All of those things are working together for Maverick. So why not with Lightyear, which you're going to get very strong word of mouth with? Why even tell people it's coming on to Disney Plus? You're going to get the subs later. Take advantage of the theatrical exclusivity right now and then do it later. Now, as far as Prey is Fox / 20th Century. I will always say Fox. I'm sorry. It's just the first thing that comes to my mind because it's always been 20th Century Fox. 20th Century. I really am curious why they're dumping it on Hulu. You look at The Predator. Talk about a forgettable film. I mean, that's a streaming film, okay? Prey, from the looks of it, looks like something that I would check out in a theater, and now you're just going to put it straight on Hulu. I know, again, you're driving your subscriptions up. I understand. But why not just do a 17-day theatrical window like Universal does with their films? It just makes sense. I don't understand what the point is to dump it onto Hulu, give it a 17-day theatrical window, and then put it on Hulu. That just makes more sense to me. Socks must be awesome. Aaliyah, no question about it. Socks is every comment, every single social reaction you see on Twitter or wherever. Maybe you get them on Instagram. God, no, I go to Instagram like once every month. I go, let's post something on Instagram. Usually something at the gym. It has nothing to do with movies. Socks is the number one attraction here. It's very easy. You'll see it everywhere. That's what everyone's saying. And yes, socks is great. And I want the robotic Teddy Ruxpin socks. I want it at my house. I think it's like $30 at Target. I might have to fire off an email to Disney and say, if you send me socks, I will put him on Midnight Movie Talk. He will sit with me in the chair for the whole time and say random things. They're going to sell a ton of those things. Socks is going to be like sold out. Just wait till the movie comes out. It's going to be gone. If you want socks, go buy socks now at Target, at Walmart. I was going to say Toys R Us. Gone. Wherever you buy your toys. Those are really the only two options, right? Target and Walmart. Is there anywhere else? Kmart? Is there already Kmart anymore? Where does it rank among the other Toy Story movies? It's a great one. I got to think. It's not at the top. It's probably, I'd say it's closer to the bottom. That said, it's still good. I mean, the Toy Story movies across the board are all very good to me, okay? There's not one, there's certainly weaker, but there's not one that I say is like, this is really, off-putting. This is not a good film. That said, it's lower, but it's still very, again, better than Luca, better than Turning Red. I know I'm saying nothing when I say that, but that's a great question. Now I feel like I go revisit all the Toy Story movies. Let's say this. How about this? Lightyear beat my expectations. Admittedly, they were low, but I had more enjoyable time watching Lightyear than I anticipated. So that's good. Anything that you outperform the expectation is a good thing. Maybe there'll be a short before the movie. I doubt it. No, Aaliyah, I don't think so, because here's what happens. When they do the press screening, they want to show you everything, pretty much. Occasionally it changes. But in general, especially with the movie coming out tomorrow, not tomorrow. It is next week. I don't think that it's going to have it there. That would be a mistake, I think, on Disney's end if they didn't attach it to the press screening or the world premiere. I can talk to somebody who just got out. Scott was there. I could text him. But I don't think it's there. They're not going to give it to them and not to us. I don't think there's going to be one. There wasn't one for Turning Red, right? It was streaming, but still there wasn't one. There wasn't one for Luca. Was there? I don't remember now. I don't remember Soul. Soul was direct to video because we had we had COVID, right? So that was in the middle of COVID. I don't think there was. I don't. Let's get into Ezra. It is a mess. The options are very simple here for Warner Brothers with the Flash. It's the same old option they've had for the last several weeks and months. They already have the test screening, right? They've done it. They've done multiple test screenings. They are praying that Ezra can stay out of the public eye for one full year. And every time that Ezra pops his head up, it's Groundhog Day. You reset the clock to, hey, Ezra Miller, what's he done now? I don't care if the source is TMZ. I don't care if it doesn't matter. It still is bad PR. I mean, if you look at Twitter right now, it's one of the trending things, right? It was a second ago. Where'd it go? Sometimes my trend's weird. Twitter's like that. All of a sudden the trend is there and then disappears. Prometheus is actually trending, which is great. I'm so happy that it is, because that, again, Prometheus rules in 3D. It really was. That's the key here. If you're not talking about Prometheus and the 3D element of it, then you're missing a lot about what makes that film what it is. I mean, obviously, very obviously, Fassbender is fantastic in that and should have gotten some awards consideration. But really, when you look at that film, it's all about that 3D usage. It's just that strong. Okay, let's go to... So for Ezra, I think it's really just a matter of putting him back in WITSEC. Put him in witness protection. You can't have Ezra coming out. You just can't have Ezra... doing another thing. I mean, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. He's got to go away, and this is another. He's popping back up over and over and over. Pixar shorts are going straight to Disney Plus. Are they? I don't know why. Again, I'd love someone to explain to me why the short's not attached to the film. It worked. It was a format, right, that we got used to. Here's the short. Here's the film. And then all of a sudden it's gone, and I think it's missing. It's something that I wish we had more of, and we need to have it back. So I'll bring them back. Gone Girl, you went to your first test screening today. Uh-oh, don't tell me, because then they could track you down. I wonder what it was. Let's see. It's probably a fall movie. Could have been Babylon. Babylon's in test screenings. You had The Flash. You've got, and then you got all these random films that sometimes I'm like brothers. I want to say there's a bunch of stuff that's out there, and I know A24 was testing Bodies. And I don't know. I'm curious. I wonder what you saw. By the way, I've talked about my test screening. We'll do a whole thing about test screenings. I think that's a good topic. There's the Zaslav factor now too. Yeah, impatient vibes, right, Aaliyah? Totally different leader now, and I'm telling you, it's so close. We're so close to falling off the cliff with this film. And every time that Ezra shows up again, it's like, dude, man, again. I mean, how many more times are we going to say again? Fitness with Julian, good evening to you. Today was the first time I thought The Flash should be canceled. Yeah, well, listen, we are talking about teetering on the edge of extinction, this film. I don't care if it's done. At some point, they're going to probably, I mean, could they just throw it onto HBO Max? But think how much money you're going to lose. It's a $200 million film at least, right? It's got to be. Black Adam, by the way, trailer today. I like the trailer. I know some people didn't feel like an emotional connection to it. I get it, but it worked for me. The effects look good. Everything in the film looks good. We'll get to the screenplay when we see it. But I was actually pleasantly encouraged by the trailer I saw today for Black Adam. But The Flash could get canceled. It feels like it, right? It really does. Okay, Box Office Pros predicting 150.4. That is interesting that they do that for Dominion. Okay. I think it's lower, and the reason, again, is Maverick. It's that simple. Maverick has sucked the oxygen out of the room, and Maverick is close enough to a 4-quad film, just like Dominion. Their audiences are similar enough that you're going to suck some of that cash out. Maverick is siphoning cash from Dominion's opening weekend. Therefore, I think the number is... 150 and under. It should have been at 180, but again, the Maverick effect is going to dent and damage Dominion, no question about it. So I'd say let's just go 140 on that, but I might even see it lower. It's only Wednesday. I'd need like a full another 24 hours to think about it. Predator 5, Prey. We'll subscribe to Hulu. That's what they're hoping, cell phone. They're hoping that you will, right? You will subscribe to Hulu or Disney Plus because you want to see Predator. Is it 5? Oh my God. Oh my God, resubscribe. So you're already there. All right. I think I have it for free. I don't watch a whole lot of streaming shows. I mean, I go to the screenings or they send me a link, so I don't even flip on Hulu. God, we have so many options, right? Don't we? Buzz Lightyear going to be a hit on Disney Plus. It probably will, Kevin. But again, give it at least a nice 30-day theatrical exclusivity. I don't know what the number is exactly. Is it 30? I wouldn't even announce it. I told you, just let it go. 20th Century is a studio that's been horrible at box office the last few years before Disney. I understand Disney turning them entirely to a streaming studio outside Avatar. Disney is no billion. No theater. Kind of, I guess. Listen, they've done a few. I know people have said that they've done 20th century films wrong, but at the end of the day, they did at least try. Searchlight films, they've at least attempted. I think there's certainly, when you go through that, when they picked up 20th century and they brought it into the fold, right? At that point, I think they had a lot of projects that were already in the works or were completed, and they're like, I don't know what to do with it. And I think one of the ones that you look at that really suffered from that merger was Ad Astra. Ad Astra was a film that I think if Fox had stuck around the way that it was, would have received more attention, certainly as an awards film, than Disney gave it, because it was right during that merger, and Disney's like, let's just put it out there. And then they really I don't think they even sent an FYC screener, which is crazy because you look behind me at all these films, they did not send a screener for that film, which is Ad Astra's great. I mean, Ad Astra is a better film than Gravity. Let's make sure that's 100% clear. And Gravity has 7 Oscars, right? 7 Oscar wins, and Ad Astra has 0 Oscar wins. See, Oscar wins don't always mean the better film, and Gravity and Ad Astra are absolutely proof of that. The visuals alone in Ad Astra, the cinematography alone in Ad Astra, are better than anything in Gravity. I'm not saying Gravity looked terrible. I'm just telling you that Ad Astra is greater than Gravity in so many ways. The score, on and on and on we could go. So I think Disney is figuring out what to do with 20th century films, and it's still a process. It's only been 2.5, 3 years. And I know that sounds like a long time, but in the industry, it takes time. I mean, you've got to figure out what works, what doesn't. You got to bring in the people that you want, and they got rid of a lot of people over there, and they brought in different people. There's a process, but I do think we suffered when we lost Fox. I do. I would definitely say that. I think the Pixar shorts are now on Disney Plus as Spark shorts. But why not just put them on with the movie? Have them debut with Lightyear, and then put them on as Spark shorts. I don't understand doesn't make sense to me. I understand to drive people to Disney Plus, but just put it in front of the movie too, and then put it on Disney Plus. Minions: Rise of the Gru sent to Peacock. No. It's not going to happen because, listen, family films are going to do well. That's the big. You got Lightyear, then you got a break, and then you've got Gru, and I think that it's going to work perfectly because the last Minions movie I was looking at that was like 2017. Which is, if I'm not mistaken, maybe there's one in there I missed, which could be a possibility because at some point you just lose track of how many of certain franchise there is. Despicable Me is one of those, but I'm pretty sure Minions and then Despicable Me 3 was like 2017, so you're looking at 5 years. That's the space that you need for a film to regather momentum and then to hit again. So I think that we talk about space is everything. You need to have the right amount of distance from your last outing to have people be regenerated on the idea and want to go see another one of those. And I think that's another issue with Dominion. It wasn't long enough. Even though with the COVID we got it stretched out a little bit, it should have been even longer. It should have been maybe another year or two. Because, absence makes the heart grow fonder, so therefore that's the same with films. If you give me a Marvel movie every week, you're going to be like, enough. I think the space between look at Doctor Strange and look at Thor, that's good spacing. It's just enough time where Thor Love and Thunder, especially if it's as good as I expect it to be, will be the biggest movie of the summer. It'll be Maverick and Thor, neck and neck, all the way down the stretch. But I think if Thor is great midsummer, July, it'll just crush with all the kids out of school. So I would put my money on Thor Love and Thunder as the #1 movie of the summer, Maverick #2, Dominion 3, Nope's in there. I think Nope could outperform. What else we got? Black Phone, that's going to outperform, but that's not going to be at the top. But it's going to outperform. Black Phone's going to be a hit. not like a massive $100 million opening, but it's going to do numbers because I believe everyone that tells me the film is very good, and I've heard from many people. I saw ISS. Why? What am I missing there? Tell me what that is. I'm literally like drawing a blank. What is ISS? Someone help me. Someone else comment and tell me what ISS is. Kevin, Ezra Miller needs to be canceled by now. Far more have been canceled for much less. Listen, if you go back to the choke slam of the girl in the bar, go back and watch that video. People have been canceled for way less than just that. So now you're talking about that, plus the Hawaii stuff, now this grooming thing, which again is an allegation, but either way, it's still another thing. We've had people canceled over allegations, haven't we? Like, a lot. People are just, goodbye, we're done with you. I hate it. I'm not a huge fan of cancel culture. I'm not saying that you're not, if you do something, you have to pay a price, but I think that short of like something horrific, I think you need to have redemption. You can't just throw people in the trash. I think it's a very bad, it feels like it's wrong thing, okay? Ethically to me, even if the person short of doing something horrendous, okay, and we can all discuss what that is, I'm not a fan of cancel culture. So, but in this case, people have been canceled for a lot less than Ezra Miller now, who's now on his, fifth? He's almost on, he's definitely close to number 9 live, but let's just say it's his 5th life, 6, 7, 8. He's there. Let's just say it's his 8th. He's almost at his 9th, and then it's over for Ezra Miller. But Kevin, you're not alone in thinking that. I love the kid. You go back and you watch Perks of a Wallflower, and there's something about Kevin, but Perks of a Wallflower for me was really the one because I love the character that he plays. Ezra's a weird dude, and that's who he is, and he wears it loud and proud, and it works for him. But I think it also obviously has gotten him into trouble. He's eccentric and obviously has some issues. That scene in Prometheus where the scientist tells David they made him because they can, he responds, "Imagine how disappointed you'd be to get the same answer from your creator," is brilliant. It is. You just see his soul. Right, it's Rutger Hauer in Blade Runner. It's the same, being an android. It's really, that's where the humanity comes in. For Prometheus, it's really about Fassbender's performance and those visuals and the direction, overall direction. Prometheus is a great example of a film that I would have no problem pushing as a best director, okay? As a best picture, no, but here's what I'm saying, okay? So you guys know, if you don't, we've talked about it before. I run Awards Ace. It's an award site. Talk about things that I think should be in the running for awards / Oscars. And when you look at Prometheus, I wasn't running Awards Ace back in 2012, but I can tell you this. I would have absolutely had Ridley Scott as a best director candidate, because when you're talking about best direction, it doesn't have to be best direction in the best film. It can be best direction, period. Look at X, Ty West. The direction in X is of a quality that I would absolutely submit for best director. Do I think X is a best picture? Hell no. We obviously know a horror film, a slasher film, although a very smart film, is never going to be an Oscars film. That said, as an awards person, I can tell you that Ty West's talent and what he has on the screen is worthy of consideration. No matter what you tell me, I know that that is accurate, because we're talking about best direction, not best direction in the best film, not best direction in a film that's an awards film, best direction, period. And the best direction I've seen this year, there's 3. 1, Ty West, X. 2, Joseph Kosinski, Top Gun Maverick. And 3, Matt Reeves' Batman. Those are the top 3 directorial efforts I have seen thus far this year. It is very likely that at least 1 or 2 of those will be in my top 5 of the year. Now, I understand there's still a lot to come at the end of the year, but those are all so high. They're ranked, they're rated very high on my board, that to beat them, to take one of them down a notch, is going to take something exceptional. So we're not talking about this is good for now. We're talking about this is good for the end of the year. So once we get to that point, then we're talking about a film that really needs to be in the consideration. And we get back to Ridley Scott. Prometheus, absolutely. As a director, no question. Ridley Scott's direction on Prometheus is of a best director quality, period. Aaliyah. Disney has not announced anything about Lightyear. Okay, they haven't announced it. Good. Because, again, they shouldn't. There's no reason that Disney should be telling you when Lightyear is coming on. Because if I am in charge of theatrical at a studio, I am never going to tell you when my film's coming out. I'm going to say, hey, it's the old 90-day window. I'm not going to answer the questions. We're considering different things. You know, what? Yeah, we're considering different options. And then what you do is you're making people go to see it theatrically, which by all definitions is the max cash you can make on that film, especially if you're talking about a family of four, right? Family of four to go to the movies, you're making more money on that family for that one movie than you are if they subscribe to your service for $10 a month. I don't care what day they're going, even the bargain day at AMC on a Tuesday. You're still making more money on that family if they go to see the movie. And we're at the point now where COVID is, let's just be real, okay? COVID's over from a standpoint of people changing their lives around COVID. They are now back doing what they used to do, back to 2019 movie going. A lot of you, okay, maybe not here, a lot of people thought that would never happen. It is 100% back, the marketplace. Therefore, make your film theatrical. And the people who are whining, which by the way, they're pretty much gone now, right? The people that are like, oh, but you give us our movie at home. I don't feel safe going. If you don't feel safe, that's fine. That's your decision. But we're not going to bend everything to fit into you. Okay? The rest of us are going to carry on. And we're going to keep doing things that we used to do. If you don't want to, there's nothing wrong with that. But don't tell me I can't do it because you don't feel safe. That's your decision. Take the precautions you need to take. But theatrical's back. Go to the movies. You know, I've been going to movies since when, in the middle of COVID, I drove over to Vegas 4 hours one way to see Tenet with Chris Gore. And then we drove 4 hours back. That was a bad decision. But we drove to Vegas in the middle of COVID. I went to movies in Orange County when LA was shut down. And the weird thing is, as I come to you tonight, here on this Wednesday, I'm alive. I'm talking to you. Movie going is safe. Go to the movies. Make people go to the movies. And if you want to see the movie and you don't feel safe, wait. You're going to have to wait. Okay? We don't have to bend to your every whim. We need to stop that. Like, someone whines and we just say, okay. No. Let the person whine and then move on. People have come after me on Twitter and they whine. This and that. And you know what you don't do? A, acknowledge it. B, you just go on with your life and do your thing. Don't make other people capitulate to your suggestions, okay? Short of something reckless, all right? All right, will Elvis suffer? Great one. Anish Raj, good evening to you. Elvis is in a great spot because it's an adult drama. It'll have just enough space away from Maverick because Maverick really hits that older demo. It's hit everything, but it really hits that older demo. The older demo will be back in regenerated, ready to go back to the movies by the time Elvis comes back. And I think what Maverick has done, in addition to all the things that we're seeing right now in these holds, it has brought a lot of people back into the marketplace. People that, as we just talked about, used to be scared to go to the movies. They're like, I don't know. And then they go to see Maverick, and then the next day they're like, I'm alive. I mean, listen, I'm not, honestly, there are people that they're like that, right? They're like, oh my God, I'm still doing things. I got through this. Maybe I'll do it again. Seriously. So what you've done now is you've created that customer again, and the customer will be ready to come back for Elvis. And I think regardless of where this film is from a quality standpoint, as far as screenplay, as far as cohesiveness, at the end of the day, Austin Butler looks fantastic. That's the early word. Everyone says he's great. And I think that Baz Luhrmann's direction and his visual storytelling style is enough for me to know that I will at least semi-enjoy Elvis. And I think everyone else feels the same way. Elvis is going to do solid numbers. Is it going to do Maverick numbers? No. But I think it's going to outperform, especially if it's at least decent. If it's good, and again, I haven't had eyes on it. I'm looking forward to seeing it here very soon. Elvis could outperform. I don't know what that number is. It's not going to be like 150 million, but let's just say it opens with like 60 million or 75. Let's just push it to the farthest boundary that I could really picture at this point. You need to get the younger crowd in there. That will be the crowd that is reticent to go. They're just like, I don't want to see Elvis. I have no interest. And that's understandable. But maybe their parents will drag them in. Maybe they'll say, oh, it looks cool. I like Austin Butler. I don't know. Whatever it is. We'll see. Word of mouth will be key to that film. But I think that the older audience is going to be back in the movie theaters to see Elvis, as long as it's not a really bad film. Cell phone, I saw Ad Astra in IMAX. Oh, man. I saw it in Dolby, IMAX. I saw it twice theatrical, IMAX and Dolby. Tangible quality, right? At 100, I couldn't say this better. That is absolutely correct. The space scenes look like they were straight up filmed at like a heightened realism, even if the science was not accurate, okay? Like the moon buggy scene. That scene, it looks like and it feels like you're on the moon. It has that tangible quality that Top Gun obviously has. But Top Gun has visual effects, and guess what? Ad Astra had visual effects, we know that. But the visual effects in Ad Astra were realistic. They did not feel like a video game. I think that's the thing that 100% agree with you on that, cell phone. That's one of the strengths of absolute number one strength, I think, of Ad Astra is the visual impact of that film and the tangible feel, real world feel of outer space, which we all know is not real. Well, I mean, us being up there to shoot it is not real. They didn't go to the moon to shoot it, but it's just something else. So, my guy, good evening, Galliette. Ezra Miller needs to go. Still open to the podcast. Okay, yeah, shoot your email. Yeah, for sure. But listen, no, Ezra Miller, there's a lot of you who think he needs to go, and I think that that's not surprising. He's had so many chances. We're getting so close to the end of that film. It's not yet. I'm not calling it and saying it's over. I'm just telling you that we're getting close. Do you think the Marvels will be good? I like what Nita Costa did with Candyman. I love what Nita Costa did with Candyman. And I love that movie. I agree with you. Candyman is a hell of a film, especially the end. And the score. Oh, that score. That score and the end of the film make the picture for me, but it's very strong, so I have a lot of faith in the Marvels. But remember what we always talk about with the MCU. The director, whoever it is, often gets lost in the film. The directorial stamp of the individual director sometimes gets swallowed up and disappears and dissolves into the film, such as we saw with Chloe in Eternals. You just saw it kind of go, and I think that speaks to, at the end of the day, we've said it so many times here, Marvel really calls the shots, right? Kevin Feige is going to make the ultimate decision on all of these things. So if you're the director, you have to submit yourself and just say, I submit. Whatever you want to do, you do. I think if you go in there as a director and you say, listen, Kevin, no, I'm doing, then you're not going to be on the set very long. Okay, so you have to capitulate to the Marvel brass who are going to tell you what to do. So I think that who directs a Marvel film is less significant than who directs a DCEU film. How about that? Yeah, I think that's fair. I do. Because, again, I go back and I look at DCEU and I look at, obviously, just start with Todd Phillips. I know you guys, so many people are like, Joker. What Warner Brothers let Todd Phillips do with Joker is very unique, and they let him just go gonzo on that film. Whether it's a hybrid of the King of Comedy meets Taxi Driver, yes, we all know that it is. But, again, just allowing that character to be, and now we get Joker 2 coming, no surprise. I mean, we knew that. You knew it was coming. It's $1 billion movie. They were going to make a sequel, whether it's needed, quote-unquote, or not. Joker 2 was going to happen. So I think that DCEU films, Warner Brothers lets their directors do more with their films than Marvel, okay? Just like that. And I actually talk about that with the Film Courage crew. First Film Courage video's up. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Go to the Film Courage video channel here on YouTube. Look at it and let me know what you think about that. Hit me with comments here. I'll probably do one of these one night talking about the comments from that first shoot. There's so many. We did a 4-hour interview. So there's going to be the Marvel stuff that comes up. There's going to be all kinds of things. International Space Station, someone's guessing for ISS. That's what I thought. I know ISS is the International Space Station, Nathan. I don't know what ISS is. Someone do a search on IMDb for ISS. Opening weekend prediction for Lightyear and Cinema Score. Thank you. I can do that because that is not a review. Opening weekend prediction. You look at let's look at the Pixar. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up the Pixar box office because I'm curious. I got to look at these numbers. I didn't really think about it before you asked me that, so now I got to look. Okay, let's pop it up. Here is the Pixar box office numbers as we look at their all-time openings and all the financials of all the films. Number one is Incredibles 2. It opened at 182 million, almost 183. And then you had Finding Dory at 135, Toy Story 4, 120, Toy Story 3, 110, Inside Out 90, and then down it goes. Monsters University at 82. I would put this, okay, so remember this, that the most recent of these was Toy Story 4 in 2019 at 120. I don't think we're going to get to 120 on this. I feel like the buzz, pardon that, but I really didn't mean it. The buzz on this is not at that level. I feel like we are not quite there. I think the word of mouth in the reviews that you're seeing tonight will be help it out. Okay, it'll bump it. But let's put it. Inside Out's at 90. Toy Story 3 at 110. Let's put it in the 100 range. I'm gonna throw it at the 100 range, and we'll see as we get closer. Right now, I'm gonna put it at 100. I don't know what Box Office Pro has it as. I like 100 for it. We'll see. Family movies could outperform. I mean, we need more family movies. We saw The Bad Guys do better than everyone expected. Cinema Score, I'm going to go A. I'll go A Cinema Score on this. Not A+, I'll go A. I think A is very good. It's the second best score you can get, and they'll be very happy with that if they get it. Let's go A Cinema Score and opening weekend 100. Thank you for the question, Aaliyah. It's been fine to say grooming to me. She's part of the tribe, right? I could see her family being pissed she's leaving that life. Yeah, you're talking about back to Ezra. Again, it's very complicated. The story's so complicated, I almost don't know how to get into it. I just want to talk about it on the periphery, which is really simple. Ezra Miller name is back out there in the media in a bad form, right? It's a negative story. And again, that's not what they want. They really just wanted him to, I said this weeks ago when it last happened, put Ezra Miller away somewhere in WITSEC, witness protection, get him away, put him in literally put him in the house that the synagogues, not synagogues, what are they, God, the Minority Report, someone help me. The Minority Report girls, the three of them, put them in that house that they're on the lake reading books at the end of Minority Report. Oh, Minority Report. Oh, my God. Man, do I adore Minority Report. But put them into that house. Put Ezra Miller in the house with the... Yeah, God darn it. I want to Google it right now. What's the name of the girls from, the psychics from Minority Report? Someone hit me right now. Come on. Someone's got to have that. No. Okay, now you're making me Google it. Okay, hold on. It's something Gogs. Isn't it? It's something Gog. Now I'm looking. Come on. Where is it? Precogs. Damn it. I knew it was precogs. Put him in the precog house. Okay? Put him in the precog house. And don't let him out. It's just bad. It's bad from Warner Brothers. I like the first half of Covenant, but the second half went downhill. Covenant, first of all, Covenant I'm not a fan of. I don't even remember Covenant all that well because it's been however many years. It's been 5 years at least. Sometimes you forget about films because they weren't great. So you just I don't remember watching Covenant. I just remember not loving Covenant. Prometheus, greater than Covenant. That is a certainty. If you have those two flipped, we need to get your head checked because there's no universe in which Covenant is greater than Prometheus. No one is going to be talking about Covenant on its 10th anniversary. People are talking about Prometheus on its 10th anniversary because it is a visual masterpiece of a film. Okay? Covenant, it was not good. Not nearly the thing. It is Chris Evans' summer, although we got to get that theatrical component coming with the Gray Man. We got to get it. Netflix. Listen, I'm not kidding you. I can be at my place here in Burbank, down to your offices on Sunset within rush hour traffic, let's say 20 minutes. Without traffic, 12. I can get there and we can talk about getting the Gray Man into AMC and Regal. I'll get you at least one screen per multiplex across the entire country. I'll bet you I get deal done within an hour and a half max. I'll fly to Kansas City and start with the headquarters of AMC. And I'll sit down with the CEO and I'll say, what, Alan? The CEO, and I'm going to say, listen, you need to let Netflix movies come into your theaters. We'll give you a 30-day theatrical exclusivity. We'll figure out what that cut is, the studio and distributor cut, the theaters, and then you're going to go ahead and we'll get it into theaters. It has to happen. It has to happen. You're spending $200 million on a movie and you're not. There it is. There it is, Nathan. I didn't even see your comment. I'm literally coming down to it. Netflix not showing Gray Man in theater is dumb. It is absolutely, it doesn't make any sense to me at all whatsoever. Nathan, it is dumb. Just got home. Hey, Alan Ng was sitting 2 seats down from me. I had Rodrigo on my left. Alan was there. Alan and his daughter was there. Great seeing you. What did I say about Lightyear? I got to recap the thing for Alan. Okay, so here it is. By the way, I'm like 10 minutes late on these comments. I got to gun through some of these. So it's good. I enjoyed it more than I anticipated, and Sock steals the movie. And I like the message that failing is not always failing, right? It actually was resonant in a way that I was kind of like, okay, I like that, because I do believe that in life. That you think that something bad happened or you did something that was wrong and it ends up leading you into a whole new place or something good comes of it. So I do like that message about Lightyear. Alan, by the way, you left your bag on the floor. Did you get that direct message from me? Alan had a bag of some sort. I mean, this is how we roll here. I literally have conversation. He was sitting he left a bag. We left it at concierge at the Grove, Alan. I know that doesn't help you. You're like an hour away from that now. But we didn't know what to do with the bag. Nathan, people don't understand if you keep day and date, you're not getting the movies you're getting today. Exactly. You have to have theatrical exclusivity. That's why we need the Gray Man in theaters. IGN recently made a great video on Nolan versus Cruise and who makes better IMAX spectacles. I don't know how it would work since both are control freaks, but that'd certainly be my dream duo. That would be good. I don't know if they'd work well together. That'd be very hard. I think Tom Cruise calls the shots. And I think you need to have a director in there who allows you to kind of push him around a little bit, right? Tom Cruise is going to say, you do this, and you go, okay. Can you imagine him going to Chris Nolan and saying, hey, I need you to do this, and Chris Nolan's like, I don't think so, bro, and they're like, boom, like a nuclear explosion right on the set, because who's going to win that? I mean, that's the thing. You see a lot of these stars work with directors they know that they can, I don't want to say push around, but they know that they can sort of, control freak and say, hey, I think we should do this, and the director doesn't go, I don't know. They go, yeah, I think you're right? Just say yes, because you want to keep working. But hopefully the star is right. I think Tom Cruise has great instincts. And I think that you need to have good instincts. If you have a star on the set who's telling you to do things that are terrible, then you've got a problem. And then you have to follow that, then you're going down. Then you probably would fight. If you're a director, you probably would fight those things, because if you do it, your name's going to be screwed, because the star's going to be okay. They're going to blame it on you, the director. They're not going to blame it on Tom Cruise. That's very interesting. What movie I see next to Burbank 16? I don't know. Good question. What's out this week? I need to go see a movie. I've only seen 3 movies this week. I need to see another movie. If there's something small, I would go see it. I don't know what. I saw Watcher. That's IFC. That's gone. I don't know what else. I mean, look, I might be down there this weekend. We'll see. Let me see what's out there. How did Ad Astra not get nominated for Best Visual Effects Cinematography? I can't answer that question. It's absolutely one of the worst snubs in the history of the Oscars. Ad Astra getting no respect. Literally none. Miss Marvel is awesome. I talked to someone tonight that said it was okay, so I'm hearing all over about Miss Marvel. I'm definitely hearing bad things about Obi-Wan. I don't watch it. I don't want to get into Obi-Wan because I don't want to have to start watching it and talk. I want to talk about movies. Toni Collette did not get nominated for Hereditary. 100%. You guys, those are 2 great things. That's a joke. And we knew that wasn't going to happen. It's a horror film. We can't have someone from a horror film be nominated for Best Actress. It has to be Best Actress in a drama or a dark comedy. It can't be someone in a horror movie. Give me a break. Of course it can. And it should have been. Joker and Batman, not part of the DCEU. I understand that, Nisharaj, but let me just say it is part of the DCEU, okay? I understand it's not, but it is, right? It's DC. So I'm just saying it's still part, even though I understand it's not connected, okay? Not connected. But it's still part of the DC EU, okay? Maybe not connected, still part. So I think that, again, Warner Brothers lets their people make the movies they want to make largely. So that's good. ISS upcoming movie with Ariana DeBose. Okay, I may look into that. I will figure out what that. Obviously, she's coming off West Side Story. That's a great. Hopefully, it's solid. We'll find out. I guess we're gonna find out. I'd love to hear the notes. What's a long movie you love? I know you don't love movies too long. That's not necessarily true. Listen, here's the reality. If a movie's long, it's not about the movie being long. It's about feeling long. Okay, so Endgame. Perfect example of a 3-hour movie that works. When I recently rewatched The Godfather, it's too long. It's a 3-hour movie that really, especially that opening scene, right, the wedding, that whole scene is too long. There's a way to crumple that whole film down and get it to like 220, and it's even better than it is. I know I'm saying, oh my God, The Godfather's too long. When you watch that film now, I see spots that we can get it and edit and bring it down and manage it into a more manageable like 220. So a long movie I love is absolutely Avengers Endgame. I even liked Les Mis, the 2012 version that was almost 3 hours, right? It had an intermission. I'm trying to think of most recent long films that I really like. I like Dune at 235. I didn't feel like that went on too long. Conversely, Blade Runner 2049, one of the things we talked about on the Film Courage, it's too long. Every scene in that movie goes on too long. Every single one passes the snap test where you go, it's time to go to the next scene. It's time to go to the next scene. When Denis made Dune, he learned so much from 2049. I know it. You can see it. The precogs, thank you. Yeah, I had to look. I knew one of you get it. I got it. The comments, I'm like 8 minutes behind. Let me go. Let's go. Rapid fire. What's some long movies you love? Yeah, exactly. I went through a couple of those. Box Office Pro currently has a range of 90 to 120. Hey, I said 100. I didn't even look. I said 100, so there we are. I feel like I'd be really good at Vegas when it comes to those things. I'm usually right on the number. Black Adam, going to do okay box office. It's October. It'll be really well. Again, remember this. When a film outperforms, it's all about the spacing. So what you're looking for is you're looking for nothing in the multiplex for a few weeks before your movie hits. Maverick had that. Doctor Strange had that. You know, he had Batman, then he had a break, then you had Doctor Strange. You had a break, you had Maverick. You need those weekends of nothing. And as long as studios are giving it to you, that's going to benefit your film when it opens. That's why Dominion's going to get hurt, because Maverick had staying power. Now on weekend number 3, it's still going to hold at maybe like minus 40. So it's still sitting there. So what's that doing? It's taking money out of your pocket. It's flying off with your cash. Maverick is flying off with Dominion's cash this weekend because of the hold and because of the fact that not everybody goes to the movies every weekend. Therefore, they're going to take an off weekend this weekend for Dominion. That might help Lightyear. Maybe they take 2 weekends off. Then Lightyear's in trouble too. But Dominion's the one that's right in the crosshairs based on Maverick. It's going to suffer this weekend. And then Lightyear should get back up there. So we're going to go high, low, and then back up, I think. I'm not sure how high we're going to go on Lightyear, but we're definitely, I don't want to be Dominion. Dominion's in a really bad spot, and it's a very mid film. It's a C- for me. It's right on the border of recommendation or, fresh rotten. By the way, Rotten Tomato approved, but I have not put a Rotten Tomato review on there for, oh my God, has it been like 8 years? I like to do the video stuff now, and it's clearly, listen, let's say one more thing as we talk about Rotten Tomatoes. More people read tweets than full long form reviews. There's no question about that. Okay, trust me, I have over 150 reviews that were on Rotten Tomatoes. I think the actual publication might be axed at this point. But the point is that the hits are low. You know what people read on Rotten Tomatoes? The blurb. That's it. They read the blurb and move on. Guess what the blurb is? A tweet, right? Twitter runs film criticism now. I would absolutely say that. I would say that your presence on Twitter is bigger to film criticism for sure than anything else. And I know it's heresy, right? For someone who writes 500-word reviews. It's fine. There's nothing wrong. I'm not suggesting. I'm just telling you that the needle is moved more by tweets than long-form reviews. This is not Siskel and Ebert. And you don't understand. I grew up watching Siskel and Ebert every Sunday. It's one of the reasons I'm here tonight. Gene Siskel is my personal hero. I mean, if I have one film critic that I love more than any other, in really the mind of Gene Siskel. I mean, it's absolutely. But those days are different. And by the way, people still got most of that from television. Granted, they both had Chicago Sun-Times and the Chicago Tribune. you had that, and newspapers were big back then, and there was really no internet, as you guys know. There was no internet. So you had the weekly syndicated show, PBS, then it went to syndicated. The fact that you had that, so many eyes on that. I mean, that show had so many eyes, and they influenced so many films that would have never been seen. They put that in the 3 or 4 spots. You'd have your number one film, like, let's say that we're doing Siskel and Ebert right now. You would have, number one would be Dominion, and then maybe your second film would be Downton Abbey, and then your third film would be like Watcher. So the lower you go, the further down the rundown you go. I used to do live television, so I know rundown. The one at the top is the biggest, then you go smaller down. But when they got to that third or fourth film, there were a lot of films that I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, and you're like, I didn't even know what some of these films were. So I would seek them out after they talked about these tiny little films. I remember watching the review for Basket Case, and I was like, I need to watch Basket Case. And what a twisted film that is. But that was because of Siskel and Ebert. Let me join you in the AMC and Netflix meeting. Okay. Listen, I think as much as I would love that, I think I can handle that. I'm ready. Like, I would destroy that meeting. They would be like, this guy is coming in here and saying, ba-da-da-da-da-da, and I'd be right. Because I would be passionate, and I know what I'm talking about when it comes to theatrical, and I'd be like, you need to do this. Why aren't we doing this? They might kick me out of the meeting, but I will say this, that I would be ready for that meeting. I would do it right now. I'd literally get in my car right now and roll down to Netflix and go, let's do this. Gray Man looks good, but it's not theatrical, so it doesn't look as good, right? Theatrical, cachet. No theatrical, lack of cachet. I know Netflix released a trailer to attach it to Maverick, but AMC refuses to show it. Yeah, they didn't show it. I didn't see it. I didn't see the trailer for Gray Man. Not at AMC. That's the only... I don't go to Regal. I go to AMC only. And if we ever go to a press screening, they're almost always at AMC too, because AMC pretty much runs LA. There's now a Regal out in Sherman Oaks, which used to be the ArcLight, but I haven't been there. But yeah, they're not. I haven't seen I didn't see it on the big screen because they don't have a theatrical component with him. Aaron said he plays stream movies, but he ain't going to advertise unless he shows the movie. Okay, Adam, that's right. Adam's the CEO. Adam Aaron. So yeah, they're not going to show trailers, and they shouldn't. He's right. He's right. And that's why Netflix is wrong and has been for really the past 4 years. You go back and you look at a film like, is Roma back here? Yeah, Roma's back here. So you look at Roma. Roma was 2018, I believe, right? 2018. That was the first major awards film that Netflix had in play. How you don't have a theatrical component attached to Roma beyond a week or two, you really tried to get that in platform. And back then, you had platform releases all the time. New York, LA, and then Chicago, and then San Francisco, Philly, DC, platform it, right? And you work your way across the country. Roma should have done that, and they should have had that in play. So you're talking about something back, Roma, 2018. Netflix has not had something in play for 4 years. My God, I should have been the head of theatrical at Netflix 4 years ago. This would all have been fixed. Literally, I know that. I know it. I'm 100% certain in my heart that I know that would absolutely have happened. Miss Marvel felt like live action Turning Red. Oh, you just completely turned me off to Miss Marvel, if that's the case, Nishraj. That you absolutely, because I do not a fan of Turning Red. Not at all. It's just, just not a great film. I'm sorry. Not even close. Joker's a DC film. Okay, yes, I understand. I get it. We're splitting hairs here. It's not technically a DCU. I understand that. We'll just call it DC. But for me, I'm gonna throw it all under the DCEU, because at the end of the day, even though it's not part of the universe, I understand. It still is a DC EU film. Aaliyah. Recent example of director and star disagreement, Fast X, Lynn left. Yep. Because Vin Diesel is apparently a nightmare, and I wouldn't want to work with Vin Diesel. Can you imagine working with somebody who every day was like, you come in and he's like, listen, I want to do this and this. And the director's like, no. I mean, Lynn's like, I don't need to do what you... Oh, yes, you do. And then you get this big war, and he storms off the set. I'm sure that's probably what happened. And then you end up with the film that, oh my God, Fast F9 was horrible. So he probably left. He probably said, I don't need this. I would do the same thing. I would try to do it as kindly as possible. And you don't want to, by the way, you do not want to trash your studio or the film, because you're never going to work again. So he had to. If you notice, he didn't say anything about it. That's key. All right, just a little bit longer here. I'd like to go about an hour. We got a lot of comments here. I'm going to gun through rapid fire. Hit me with your last comments, because we're going to wrap this really fast. or soon, very soon, very soon. Again, hours about the limit here for Midnight Movie Talk. And again, we're not going to go tomorrow. I think we're going to go Sunday again because we went Sunday, we went Monday, and we went Wednesday this week. So I think we're going to take tomorrow off. We'll have box office discussion on Sunday. Day and date releases have a lure for movies that would do nothing at box office but benefit a cache of theaters at marketing. A movie like Maverick cannot be day and date, but films like Men can. I don't like anything being day and date, but I understand your point. Men should never even have been theatrical. It's really borderline unwatchable, along with Crimes of the Future. I don't want to get into that again. I'll end this on a really bad note. I just want to say that neither one of those films deserves to be theatrical. I would have no problem with either of them being streaming because neither one is good. I mean, one's a 2 out of 10 for me, and the other's a 3. And actually, the more I think about Crimes of the Future, it probably is a 2 as well. I had it at a 3. I don't usually give 2s to films. They're really got to be offensive for me to go there, and both of those films are. They're just really bad films. And I had this long discussion about this, right? About recommending a movie like Crimes of the Future. It's like that's a real. You're just asking for trouble when you do that because people are going to lose you're going to lose trust. Universal does best cell phone if a movie makes 100 million in the first 30 days, makes under 100 can be streamed in 14. So Nathan, I love the business. I love that there's a business discussion to this because ultimately those are discussions that are going on behind the doors in these meetings with Netflix. But again, the fact that Netflix doesn't have theatrical is just ridiculous. All right, this will end it here tonight. Let's do it. What movie are you most excited for the rest of the year? Right now, the movie that popped into my head that I can't wait to see, I have to wait until virtually the longest amount of time until this film comes out. It is Babylon. Because I think Damien Chazelle is a true next-level elite directorial talent. And I trust in his vision, Whiplash and La La Land for the choices made, the direction of First Man, the look of First Man, not the screenplay, the look. I'm not as big a fan of but the direction. I love strong direction, and therefore the answer right now, without question, is Babylon because Damien Chazelle is one of our true directorial talents, and I can't wait to see the film. All right, that's going to do it here tonight. Thank you guys for watching. As we roll out here on this Wednesday, I'll be back here on, let's do it, like I said, Sunday. We'll do box office talk on Sunday. Have a great rest of your long weekend until we see each other on Sunday night. Like, subscribe. I really appreciate you guys, and we'll talk again really soon. See you Sunday night. Good night.